Hello, BR Nation. Let's talk some college hoops. I'm your host, Greg Waddell, joined by my favorite breakout superstar, Carter Elliott. That's what we're talking today. We've got a list of our 10 favorite breakout star candidates in college basketball this year. We'll unveil our list one by one, give our pitches on why we're expecting big seasons, and take questions and comments along the way. Carter, you exceed my expectations literally every time we see each other because I could not expect less from you. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, G. We are doing this room on the cusp of our baseball team fighting off elimination, but I'm not going to let that affect me. I love everything about breakout players in college basketball. Everyone always talks about the one and dones, guys that, maybe eventually grow in their career, but I think we have a really good list of players here who maybe are going to have a bigger role, different setting, or just, I don't know, maybe better themselves as college basketball players, where I think they are really going to make a name for themselves this season.
So we don't make the rules, and there are very rarely rules on this program, but there is one rule today: no freshmen. These are all players that are returning to college basketball that we have seen at least in some form at some school. Maybe they have a new team, maybe they have a new role, maybe we just think they're going to get better. But that will be the one consistent theme as we unveil our list today. Are you ready to get into this, Cart?
Let's get right into it.
Let's begin with number 10 on the list, and it is Braden Smith. Not Purdue's Braden Smith. Just wanted to get everybody fooled for a second there. Just, yeah, you thought the National Player of the Year favorite when I said that name. No, I'm talking Braden with an E, Gonzaga's Ryan Nembhard replacement, former Colgate point guard, a very productive player who is now going to have the keys to a Mark Few offense. That's a pretty good place to start.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you see his stats at Colgate. This was a player as a freshman, I think really made himself a name. And obviously last season he had to sit out for Gonzaga and kind of was waiting in the wings and learning from Andrew Nembhard on his way. And he's a guy who I think is going to be, a consummate floor general. I think he does a little bit of everything. He averaged just over 12 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds at Colgate. And the one thing that I love about the breakout for Braden Smith is I think he's going to be playing with a front court that's going to demand some attention and some gravity. Graham Ike is an All-American level candidate. Braden Huff is a good four-man in his own right. I think that Braden Smith could be that guard that gets those guys in the right spot and, I think runs a great offense for Gonzaga and Mark Few.
Now, jokes aside about his name, he really is similar to the premier Braden Smith in a lot of ways. This guy is a triple double threat, or at least he was at Colgate. He would have games where he would be sniffing 9, 10 assists, 9, 10 rebounds while also scoring 15 a game at Colgate. He was awesome. He's obviously going to be used a little bit differently with those stars in the Gonzaga front court that you mentioned. But how rare is it in this era, in the NIL era, where guys are just jumping around, signing up for new opportunities, changing everything about themselves as a player year over year? How unusual is it that this kid took a redshirt year? He committed to Gonzaga 2 summers ago with the plan, knowing that he was going to be a practice player, learn under Ryan Nembhard for a year, and then come in and have the keys. I think it's really cool. I think it's going to work because he's a very dynamic player, and I think he's going to be a handful for everybody in the country to deal with when you line up against Braden Smith and Gonzaga. Let's move one spot up on the list, and now it's not like number 10 here. Number 10 was very productive in his first couple of years of college basketball. Number 9 on this list was not. It's Cannon Catchings, former 5-star commit, overtime elite kid that spent 1 year at BYU. He originally was a Purdue commit before changing his mind and flipping to BYU late. Ultimately, the BYU experiment did not work out, but there were flashes of brilliance in limited playing time in Provo that we feel confident will translate to the SEC at Georgia.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is in Cannon Catching's favor is that I don't know if he is, deserving of being higher on this list, but when you look at the talent that he has and the stuff that he possesses, I mean, this is a kid who was popping up on draft boards, and he had moments at BYU where he looked like an NBA player, a really good combination of the ability to shoot from outside, a really elite athlete. I mean, can easily dunk it, put it on your head, catch a lob as well. all the tools are there for Cannon Catchings. It's just, is it ever going to come to fruition? Is it going to be able to, be put on a stage that looks good for him? And I think that Georgia might be a good spot to do it for him because, with all due respect to Georgia's roster, they need Cannon Catchings to break out. So he's going to have the opportunity that maybe he didn't really find for himself having that opportunity in his freshman year in Provo at BYU.
We've seen talented players at Georgia in the current regime have breakout seasons. I think that's the interesting part of this to me. Obviously, Asa Newell was, a lottery pick level talent last year, but Silas Demery really grew and developed in his career at Georgia and got better and better, and now he's going to be UConn's starting point guard. I think that's what we're hoping happens with Cannon. Now, I'm not saying a year from now he's transferring somewhere else, but look, BYU last season was a strange situation. Good basketball team for sure. But they came into that year thinking it was going to be Cannon and Yegor Demon doing a lot of the heavy lifting. The reality was Richie Saunders was just way better than he was supposed to be. And I think by the end of the year, Kevin Young didn't have any choice but to turn away from Cannon Catchings with how productive Richie Saunders became. Ultimately, if that was Cannon's fault, I don't know that we know yet. I do know this. He had that game against Baylor in conference play last year where you look up, Cannon Catchings was 6 for 6 from the floor. Hadn't missed on just step back jumpers, contested threes, and he wasn't even on the floor in overtime in a game where he couldn't miss. And I'm excited to see him have a little more of a free leash at Georgia. I think we could see some prolific scoring nights from Mr. Catchings. Let's check in with the chat here because we have some nominations, and we can either approve of these or maybe shoot them down on the fly here. We start with Laughing Meteor, who says Jackson Shellstad.
Yeah, I'm laughing at that comment from Laughing Meteor. Are we talking about first team all preseason Big Ten Jackson Shellstat?
I don't think we can accept Shellstad as an answer. Too good. Too
Sure.
accomplished. Not going to work for me. Moving down the list, we have K Scott 27 who says Malik Mack.
That's teetering for me. Is he too good to be there?
I don't think he's too good to be there. Can I confess something I've been afraid to tell you for a few weeks?
Does it go against how I feel about my Hoyas?
I don't think a breakout's coming.
Oh, wait, but
Yeah,
we're Malik Mack guys.
we are. Ed Cooley did everything he could to sabotage Malik Mack last year. I'm not confident in the system fit for Malik. Running Comment has a name that I can't wait to get your answer on. Trey Holloman?
I do think that Trey Holloman is up for a possibility to break out. Yeah, I think that he is projected to be the starting point guard for NC State and Will Wade. I think that he's going to be provided with the platform and the opportunity to do so. And you know what? Salute to my logo general, as you like to call him. I do think that Trey Holloman has a breakout season.
Is this a list of breakout stars or breakout role players?
Breakout stars.
So then I don't want Trey Holloman on the list. Is that
Good.
okay?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. Good deal.
Okay. All right, cool. One more from the chat right now. Chris Lathan, RTR87, says Latrell Wrightsell.
The thing is, for Wrightsell, he actually might be able to make this because, the injury to Jalil Bethea. We don't know how long he's going to be out. I think Wrightsell is going to be in the starting lineup, but I think that Wrightsell is more of that role player kind of mold here, and we're trying to go like more starish in this one.
Yeah, I just think there's too many guys in the Bama offense that I like more. That's not disrespectful to Wrightsell necessarily because I like him, but I think as long as Phylon is there, I think if Aiden Holloway is there, you're going to have two guys that I believe are going to be big time scorers ahead of him. So I'd probably lean away from it, but I don't hate the nomination. All right, thank you, chat. We will come back to take more chat, comments, and questions as we continue to roll up our list. We go to number 8 next. And it's a player that I've been banging my head against a wall all offseason, screaming to people to not forget about this guy. It's Milan Momcilovic at Iowa State. Iowa State was a preseason top 5 team last year. Ultimately, they did not live up to that. They were just good, not great. And I think because of that, there's this little stench associated with them where nobody wants to even talk Iowa State this year. I think everyone's just kind of sick of Lipsy. Like he's been around forever, and we now think there's like a ceiling limiting his potential outputs here, right? Momcilovic is what changes with this team. Like Joshua Jefferson is good. Lipsy is good. Out are Gilbert and Jones on the wing, who are huge scorers, and into kind of the open role to be the alpha scorer on this team. I think steps Milan Momcilovic, who has been basically a sixth man his entire career. But you see the numbers in front of you. If those are numbers for a sixth man, and now you're getting the Curtis Jones role, you could be pretty awesome. And I don't get why more people aren't high on Milan. Do you agree with me here?
Yeah, I'm definitely with you, especially because I think that part of Iowa State's struggles last season were when Milan wasn't on the floor, whether it was because of injury or because he was coming off the bench. I think that this is a guy they are going to need him to score. That's the point that I think means the most out of this. There is no Gilbert, there is no Curtis Jones, and he has the size, the game. I love the ability to shoot that he has. I also think he provides more off the dribble too, which kind of keeps people off balance. I think he's in line for a really, really big year. And I feel like we've been waiting on the Milan Momcilovic breakout, and I think the things are aligning for him. I also think that being like the Robin to what I think Joshua Jefferson is in Batman could help him out.
You think Joshua Jefferson's Batman?
Yes.
Like Ben Affleck Batman? Christian Bale? What Batman are we talking?
Crazy you think I know which Batmans are which.
Okay. I have a take I'd like to just quickly spout off and then move up the list and forget about. I think Milan Momcilovic is who people think Andrei Stojakovic is.
Oh, whoa-wee.
Let's move up to number 7 on our list next. Cart, I'll let you unveil this one. Our 7th breakout candidate for this season is.
None other than Flight 55, Watch Your Head, Michigan State Spartan Cohen Carr. One of the most electrifying athletes in college basketball, the best athlete in college basketball, but looking to kind of do a little bit more this season, G. In the summer, we've seen some footage of him knocking down the three-pointer consistently, doing some other things outside of what you like to don it as dunky dunks. And look, this is a player that on very, very low volume shot 33% from the three-point line. We're hoping that the volume goes up and it kind of stays around that three-point percentage. But he's going to have a bigger role with this team. Only played 20 minutes a game last year, but he had himself a really good NCAA tournament run where he was a really big part of what they can do. And basically, this is if Cohen Carr can do more good basketball things outside of dunking, Michigan State's going to need somebody to score. And Cohen Carr is, I think, a prime candidate to do so.
You know, it's interesting for me. I approved of putting Carr on this list in this spot, and I don't want to be the Cohen Carr skeptic. But as I hear you make the pitch for him, it's just a lot of things I don't think you say about guys that are actually likely to break out. Like, if he adds any sort of basketball skill, he'll be pretty good. Like, now, to his credit, without any serious basketball skill, without being able to dribble, without being able to shoot, without being able to do anything, he was still a top 6 player on a really good championship level team that won a bazillion games last year. I just kind of wonder, the whole identity of this Michigan State team is going to flip this year from going 11 deep and playing everybody 20 minutes a game to, in theory, like having a go-to guy. And kind of not, I don't know, you're not as deep this year. I think they want Cohen to be the go-to guy. It just might be a situation where they quickly realize that's not his game, and he can still have loud impact performances without kind of having this breakout season. That's more in line with what I think is going to happen. You called them Flight 55. Is that a nickname we're working with?
I'm workshopping, yes.
Okay. Last year, he was more Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 because he just disappeared all the time. And I think you've got to hope that that doesn't happen this year.
Now in the big moments, check the NCAA tournament record.
When he had what, like 6-3?
I don't know if you read the ticker below there, but yeah, he had 15.
Okay, let's go back to the chat. Chat, let us know how you feel about Cohen Carr. But for now, we start with Jade Dragon, who has another nomination for us, Boogie Fland.
I think there is a chance that he is going to be able to break out, but also at the same time, Boogie Fland was a projected first round draft pick.
He's very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too good.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think Boogie is great. He's going to get the Walter Clayton role at Florida. He's going to be better. So by definition, I do think he'll break out, but he was already pretty awesome at Arkansas. Not going to be on this list. Griff Dog 2 says Tahad Pettiford. That guy's definitely too good to be on this
Way too
list.
good to be on this list. You guys got to find the happy medium of like they're good, but you can't be too good because you're just being what you are. He's just going to get more minutes. He's going to be the same Todd Pettiford.
Yeah. Yeah, you're giving us extra extra large names right now. Give us mediums.
Yeah,
That's what we're after. That's something Carter has never had to say out
I
loud.
just knew that
UL
it was coming.
UL Cards 1 says Javon Hadley.
Listen, as a resident Louisville Cardinal, Elza, by the way, we as an organization and an entity, as I speak as a Cardinal, we don't want Javon Hadley to break out. We want him to just do what the guards say.
Probably true. Probably true. More of a glue guy. Maybe we'll do a glue guys list at some point, and Javon Hadley will be on it. Last one for now. Diego Himalaya says Jaden Bradley. I don't hate this one, but there's a lot of freshman talent on Zona.
I don't hate this one either. I also love the theory that I feel like you need to put one breakout guy on your list who is basically free from playing with Caleb Love, and that automatically like puts them in the breakout category, and that'd be Jaden Bradley.
That would have been last year, though. Well, no, I guess Caleb Love was still there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
Caleb
was.
Love. You know that episode of Black Mirror where you like press a button and then you can't see certain people? My brain's been doing that with Caleb Love for 3 years.
Black what?
It's a TV show. Let's move on to number 6 here. Isaiah Evans is 6th on our breakout candidates list. The pitch here is pretty obvious, I think. Stud, 5-star talent that was in and out of the rotation for Duke last year because Duke was Duke. I mean, Con Knippel was way ahead of schedule. You had Cooper Flagg on the wing. You had a bunch of win now veteran types, Sion James, who was brought in there, Tyrese Proctor, obviously, as well. To me, there's a runway here. The Duke has sort of just built this roster with an Isaiah Evans breakout in mind. I think they want him to lead the team in shot attempts. From the scrimmage footage that you can find on Duke's YouTube channel over the weekend, Isaiah Evans is going to be the go-to guy on this team.
100%. And one of the best parts about Isaiah Evans, and I'm glad I got this opportunity, Gregory. This here is a standard video game controller, right? As you can see, the X button is right there. That's how you shoot. That's the only button that Isaiah Evans has on his controller. He catches ball and he shoots ball and he shoots the ball at 40% from three-point range. You think back to last season where he had the big game at Boston College that you're seeing here on the screen. He also had a big game against Auburn that really, really propelled them in that victory. So, like, I just really like what Isaiah Evans is going to do. The one question mark I have is what it looks like with Duke's guard play. I think they need someone to get him the ball in a position just to shoot it. I kind of don't really like him off the dribble as much, but he's going to shoot the ball a lot and he's going to shoot it at a high clip. And I think in a very, very or a more advanced role, I will say, he's going to be a player that I think is going to fill up the scoring column. I'm not going to say stat sheet.
And they call him Slim.
A Showtime Slim.
Yeah, yeah. Warrants mention as well. Okay, I just spoiled it. Oh no, let's just get right to it. It's Ian Jackson at 5. Everyone, God, I deserve a timeout. I cut all the suspense from that. But honestly, it's because I was really excited to say Ian Jackson. He's away from Hubert Davis. Say it with me, everybody. He's away from Hubert Davis, and good things usually happen when that happens to 5-star recruits.
I hope you think about what you've done, but I'll take 5 minutes here to just really get us back on track. You're really pulling a Casey Mize here. Not good vibes, Greg. Not good vibes. Ian Jackson was one of the more highly touted players coming out of high school. A player that when you watched North Carolina last year, you kind of left being like, why doesn't Ian Jackson play more? When he played a lot of minutes, he scored the basketball, and I think that it led to good things for UNC. And look, we've heard a lot about like Ian Jackson and how he necessarily felt about playing for Hubert Davis and, you know, kind of not being showcased like he wanted to. That's not going to be an issue at St. John's with Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino referred to him as a point god. Not really sure how I feel about that, but when it comes to scoring the basketball and walking folks down, There's nothing Isaiah Jackson loves more than staring at his defender and being like, "You can't guard me," and play do him offense. I think he's going to get the chance to do that with St. John's, and hopefully it works.
Isaiah Jackson, you said?
See, you're rubbing off on me. What's going on?
I think this is honestly on us for putting Ian Jackson and Isaiah Evans back to back because they're kind of the same guy. Like, aren't they? Like, they're both just like, let me go get my 30 and that's it. I don't know. I think honestly, weirdly enough, I have Ian Jackson ahead of Isaiah Evans. And by the way, yeah, I just realized our producer of the show's name is Ian Evans. So this
Yeah.
could not be more confusing to us right now. But I feel like Ian Jackson being Rick Pitino's primary scorer is probably a better situation even than being like the featured guy on Duke. Because at Duke, you still have a Cam Boozer. At St. John's, like RJ Lewis was awesome last year, even though that team had offensive issues. And I feel like this roster was built with Ian Jackson scoring 20 points every single night in mind. I'm curious to see what it looks like. It's very likely to come to fruition. We've got four more to unveil here, but let's go back to the chat first. Big Booty Judy says Donnie Freeman bounce back year.
I feel good about being the first person to answer a big booty question. But yeah, I love Donnie Freeman at Syracuse. I'm a little bit hesitant on the whole coaching thing. I think a big part of our breakout list is you got to have a coach that we actually think you can break out for. I have a lot of questions about Red Autry.
Yeah, as much as I love a big booty bounce back, I don't think I can get behind any Syracuse players being on this list right now. Moving on, WV Marcelise says Zuby Ejiofor, too good.
Come on now, guys. What are we doing here?
You know, I think we got to look in the mirror on this. I think we need to set some clear expectations next time. We'll work on this. J Money 23 with a name that we really like, but J Money, I'm sorry, not on the list. I'm waiting for a KJ Wyndham mention.
Listen, I love KJ Wyndham, but we are discussing breakout candidates, and I don't know if you can break out for the preseason, like what, 16th Northwestern in the Big Ten team.
That felt a little mean-spirited. They could be better than that. Nick Martinelli's very good. I think Wyndham might be on this list a year from now. That's my guess. I don't think we're going to go from like no name to star this year. No name to good player to star should be the path. Back to our top four here. I am curious if you've watched this entire show and you're playing along at home. I wonder how many of you out there could guess the final four because I think there aren't many surprises left. Maybe one of these names might surprise some people, but for the most part, these are pretty expected, loud breakout candidates. We start with number four. It is Kansas's starting center, Flory Bedungadunks. I love him. He's going to be the second best player on this team alongside Darren Peterson. The question is just how much offensive skill is there, but does he even need it if he's just catching lobs from Peterson all game?
Yeah, I think that, what you saw last year from Flory is that even if he doesn't expand the show a little bit more offensive game, I think you have one of the best lob finishers, rebounders, and shot blockers in the country. And you pair that with Darren Peterson, that's really all you need to do, in my opinion. I don't really know if you want Flory catching it on the block and going to make a move. Now, I'm interested to see if he did expand his game a little bit, but this was one of the best centers in his recruiting class. There was arguments that, a lot of Kansas fans wanted him on the floor more and thought they were better with him on the floor. So I think he's going to have a massive role this year. He's not going to be blocked by anyone like Hunter Dickinson. And it's really going to be him and Darren Peterson, truly him and Darren Peterson working. And I think it's going to look good.
Yeah, you mentioned Hunter. I'm glad you did. Similar to Caleb Love getting a shout earlier in the show. I do think just a guy leaving that was so clearly in front of Flory Badunga is going to be the biggest breath of fresh air. Hunter was good. He warranted the role ahead of Flory. But everything on Kansas's team last year revolved around Hunter because everything in Hunter's life ever has to revolve around Hunter. That's not the easiest thing to fit into, especially if you're a talented center like Flory is. I don't think their games meshed at all. They tried to play Batunga at the four next to Hunter, and honestly, it worked better than I thought. That's a testament to Badunga. But to me, this year, it's his front court. Like they did not bring in other pieces that even should compete with Badunga. He should play 32 minutes a game. He should be a physical force. And if Kansas is very good, it's likely because Flory is really Good. To number 3 on this list, this is the one that I think could qualify as a bit of a surprise. Maybe not, though. Former 5-star recruit, new program, Mackenzie Mbako. Now, you and I have covered Mackenzie quite a bit, playing for Mike Woodson in Indiana in the last 2 years. I think we've always believed in the talent. We've never believed in what the system has wanted him to do. That's what excites me this year. He's playing for Bucky McMillan, first year at Texas A&M for Bucky, but the Bucky ball system, run, shoot a bunch of threes, kind of chaotic energy, is going to take these long twos that Mackenzie Mbako's been asked to take at Indiana, playing the small forward position, and put him at a stretch 4 spot, drag him out to the perimeter. I think it's going to fit his game really, really well. Remember, we are 2 years removed from this being a kid that Kentucky really, really wanted. Duke really, really wanted. And I think he chose a bad spot up till this point in his career for his development. This is the first time he's been in a good spot since high school.
Yeah, I think Mackenzie Mbako has all the tools. And, I was of the belief that Mackenzie wasn't necessarily utilized the best in a Mike Woodson system and what kind of what they had. He is, even if he isn't the biggest breakout star, Mackenzie Mbako might have made the best decision for his game going to play Bucky ball for Bucky McMillan at Texas A&M. It is all about offense, offense, offense. That's all Mackenzie wants to do. And, even in the G League Elite camp, which Mackenzie attended, he was one of the better players there. There was rumors that he might even stay in the NBA draft, that he showed enough to really be and maybe even get his name called in the second round. So I'm very excited to watch him with Texas A&M this year. And for a player that averaged 12 and almost 5 rebounds a game for Mike Woodson, grade that on a curve in buckyball form. I think he's a player that's going to put up really, really good stats for Texas A&M.
Flip side correlation, we're giving Mackenzie the credit for choosing Bucky McMillan. I'm not positive Mackenzie knows Bucky McMillan is coaching Texas A&M, but
Right.
he still stumbled into a good situation either way,
Yeah, he'll figure it out. Don't worry. He'll eventually that bell will go off for him. No taco.
As as long as it's catch ball, shoot ball, he can do that. I think it'll happen. All right. Let's check back in with the chat quickly. Luke Bilodeau says ignoring John Blackwell was behind Tanji last year. We're
Luke.
not. We're not ignoring
Luke.
John Blackwell. John Blackwell is number 2 on this list. Now, it wasn't just Luke in the chat who was clamoring for Blackwell throughout the show. We did ignore like 7 other comments of people expecting Blackwell. So, not a big surprise to see Blackwell here, but the pitch is obvious. He goes from a second option alongside John Tanji in one of the best offenses in the country to the first option in what we expect to be one of the best offenses in the country. This is a kid, you should give him a round of applause, truly, because in the portal era, any school in America would have wanted him. I mean, the best programs in the country would have paid this kid millions of dollars. And it's well documented at this point. Wisconsin has resource issues. I mean, they have lost a lot of players to the portal in recent years. You think back to AJ Storr just 12 months ago. Blackwell shut it down quickly early in the offseason, said, I'm not even thinking about leaving. I'm going to be a star this year. And I, for one, can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to see it either. I love John Blackwell. Loved him in high school. Played in the state of Michigan, and I mean his jump from his freshman to sophomore year was impressive in its own right. And I think he's going to be in line for another really, really good year. And I mean, it's crazy to say this, G, but what does it mean to be a first option for Greg Gard, John Tanji, Johnny Davis? Who else am I missing? Who was the first option before that?
Before JD?
Oh, AJ Storr. I missed
Yeah,
AJ Storr. Like
Storr was in there for a year. Yeah.
being the first option for Wisconsin is actually really, really good. And I think that John Blackwell is going to be the first option for them. I think he's, primed for a first team All Big Ten year and playing next to Nick Boyd, a sneaky, fun Wisconsin team. I really like what their prospects could be this season.
Yeah, the only thing that works against Blackwell in this conversation, you could argue he's too good to be on this list. He averaged 16 a game last year. You see the numbers in front of you. The breakout for him really happened last year, but I guess this speaks to what we expect from him. If he was at 16, 5, and 3 last year, I think you could see 26 and 4 this year and have him in the Big Ten Player of the Year race. We'll see. Okay, we're up to number 1. Let's take a couple guesses from the chat quickly before we reveal. Love Purdue says Fletcher is number one. I'm assuming that's Fletcher Lawyer. Mark Fabry says Otega Owe is number one. Gotta be. Professor Yaya says Christian Anderson gotta be on here, or this list is fraudulent. Is
We
our
don't do
list fraudulent?
we don't do fraudulent, at least not intentionally.
No, we don't. That's because Christian Anderson is our number one breakout candidate for the 2025-2026 college basketball season. We've been doing a running bit, which is not a bit, but it has become a bit on our channel, our YouTube channel. We do 6 hours of college basketball talk every single day. And Christian Anderson's name has come up so much. Like whatever conversation we're trying to have, it's like best sophomores, best breakout guys that could be lottery picks that no one sees coming. Every time we just have to mention Christian Anderson, it's become like a Christian Anderson counter for us. But there was only one name for the top of this list. It's this kid. He's special. There are shades of Trae Young in his game. He was so ahead of schedule last year at Texas Tech. He forced his way onto the floor in the shooting guard spot in a very veteran team with guys like Darion Williams and Chance McMillan and Elijah Hawkins. And he was so good that I think he's just expected to be awesome this year. However, it's not talked about enough. He's going to play his natural position. He's going back from shooting guard to point guard. There is a world, as good as JT Toppin is, that this is Christian Anderson's team. And that excites me.
Which is crazy, but also not the craziest thing in the world. I mean, G, you and I have been big fans of this kid since he was committed to your university. And what he was able to do in year one for a kid who, I mean, he came into Texas Tech and he was like 150 pounds soaking wet. And he played 30 minutes for this Texas Tech team that went very far in the tournament and was really good last season. And he did everything that the team needed him to do, and he did it well. And I think that playing the point guard position this year, also, he's had a great summer, played for the German national team, put a young Slovenian dude on a poster to start the game. I really love his game. I think his body has matured and come a long way as well. Him being the point guard for this Texas Tech team, I think we're looking at an All-American level season from Christian Anderson.
Yeah. Juwan Howard product as well.
Never forget.
Yeah, please don't. All right. That's the list, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just run through it one more time for good measure here. Braden Smith with an E, number 10. Cannon Catchings, number 9. Milan Momcilovic, number 8. Cohen Carr, 7. Isaiah Evans, 6. Ian Jackson, 5. Our producer, Ian Evans, not on the list, but very confusing. Number 4, Flory Badunga. Number 3, Mackenzie Mbako. Number 2, John Blackwell. Number 1, Christian Anderson. I am Za says no Purdue players. Any thoughts, Cart?
You know what? Maybe Jakari Harris could have made this since he gave people 30 points, but no Purdue players, and there's also no Michigan players. I want that noted on here.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's very hard to be considered a breakout player on a team that has like multiple All-Americans and 10 good players.
hmm
I think that's probably why we don't have Purdue or Michigan players on this list.
Definitely why we don't have Purdue.
Yeah, probably Michigan too. United said anyone in the Big Ten not on the list to look out for. I like the KJ Wyndham shout from Jay Money.
Yeah, KJ Wyndham's definitely a shout I would throw out there. Also, John Mobley Jr. playing at Ohio State's another one. Going to be a sophomore this year. Going to be interesting to see what it'll look like next to Bruce Thornton, but I think that kid has crazy game.
He got a passing mention from me, and the offseason buzz hasn't been great, but Andrej Stojakovic could be on this list. If he just is what we thought he was when he committed to Illinois, I think that could still happen here. Lastly, Hayden says Milan should be higher because he's an absolute bucket. Solid list, though. Would you shift any of these around, Cart?
I mean, truthfully, I do feel pretty good about this list. I think Milan could be higher, given what he needs to be for Iowa State, but I think I like how the list played out.
That would have been great feedback to provide yesterday when we were asked to make the list. And then I made the list, and then you just provided absolutely zero input like always. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's the show. Reminder, we are Sleepers Media, the Sleepers podcast, 5 days a week, anywhere you get your podcasts. Plenty more college basketball talk. A lot of media days happening this week. So we've got reactions to all of it on the Sleepers YouTube channel. We do a show live for Bleacher Report every single Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. It is the only place to get live content from us. So thank you for being here and watching along. We hope you'll join us again next week. Carter, you can have the final word.
Kiss and hug your loved ones and get ready because college basketball is right around the corner. Gosh darn it.
We'll see you next week.